Introduction. On a quiet morning, a man left his home as he had done many times before. There was nothing unusual about that day. No signs of distress, no message left behind, no indication that this would be the last time anyone would see him. What followed was not a dramatic event, but a slow and unsettling absence, one that raised questions which remain unanswered to this day. This is a real story, and this is what is known. Background. The man lived an ordinary life by most standards. He had a routine, responsibilities, and people who expected him to return home. He was not known to be reckless or impulsive. There were no public records of serious conflicts or sudden changes in behavior. Those who knew him described him as quiet, consistent, and reliable. In the days leading up to his disappearance, nothing appeared out of place. No unusual purchases, no concerning conversations, no plans to travel or relocate. Everything suggested that life was continuing as normal. The day he left. On the morning he disappeared, he followed his usual routine. He left his home at approximately the same time he always did. What he was wearing was unremarkable. What he carried with him was minimal. There was no sign that he expected to be gone for long. Witnesses later confirmed seeing him shortly after he left. These sightings placed him within a familiar area, moving in a familiar direction. This would be the last confirmed moment anyone could place him, with certainty. Initial response. When he failed to return home, concern did not immediately turn into alarm. Delays happen, plans change. But as hours passed, and then an entire day, it became clear that something was wrong. Family members attempted to contact him. There was no response. Friends reached out. No reply. By the following day, his absence could no longer be explained by routine disruptions. Authorities were notified. The search efforts began within the areas he was last known to be in. Routes he commonly used were examined. Locations he was familiar with were checked. Personal belongings were not found. There were no signs of an accident, no evidence of a struggle. Digital records were reviewed. His phone showed no activity beyond the time he was last seen. Financial records did not indicate unusual spending or travel. Every expected trace was missing. What was found and what was not? As the investigation continued, a pattern emerged, defined more by absence than discovery. There were no confirmed sightings after that initial time, no surveillance footage that clearly showed where he went next, no witnesses who could say they saw him leave the area. Nothing suggested he had planned to disappear. Nothing indicated a reason to believe he had intended to abandon his life. At the same time, nothing clearly pointed to an accident or external involvement. The case stalled quietly. Passage of time, days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. Search efforts slowed. Leads grew colder. The places that once felt connected to his presence slowly returned to normal activity, even as the questions remained unresolved. For those closest to him, time did not bring clarity, only distance from answers. What remains unknown? To this day, there is no confirmed explanation for what happened after he left home, no verified location beyond his last known movements, no physical evidence that explains his disappearance, no definitive conclusion. The timeline ends abruptly. What happened after that moment remains unknown. Quiet conclusion. Some stories end with answers, others do not. This is one of those cases where certainty stops at the last known moment, the point at which a person was still part of the world as it understood him. After that, there is only silence and unanswered questions.